Hello, hello, everybody. Well, it has been a busy week here in Arkansas, not in a good way. So we got lots of stuff to talk about tonight. Of course, we're going to be talking about the homicides at the Devil's Den State Park. They have made an arrest. They have the alleged suspect, although we're pretty much sure that it's him. DNA match and everything, and he did give they didn't call it a confession, but an admission as of right now. So we'll be going over that. I have the press conference. They did the press conference last night when they made their arrest. And hopefully, if I disappear, I'll get, if StreamYard kicks me out, I'll do my best to get back in. Once again, my farm signal's sketchy. But anyway, so last night they did a press conference that they had arrested a suspect, and I was going to show that one. But then they did another press conference today with going into more detail about how they found him and the evidence and the search warrants and stuff. So I'm going to show that one. We're going to go over some missing persons right quick first. And then we have another case, unfortunately, of a missing young man from here in Arkansas, Braden Roberson. That has turned into a homicide investigation now. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, staying cool in this heat. It's hot out there. So let's see who we have. Echoes is here. He said he is number one. Good job for being number one, Bubba. Good to see you. And Echoes had a little bit of excitement at his work last night. So that's just crazy everywhere. Miss Barb is here. Hello, my dear. Good to see you, Miss Barb. She was number two. Let's see. Oh, I think Echoes and Miss Barb are fighting over who's number one. Echoes, I wouldn't mess with Miss Barb. She's a tough lady. She'll get you. Junior is here. Hello, sir. Always good to see you, Junior. Always good to have you here. Chris is here. Always good to see Chris. Hello, sir. I hope you're doing well. So like I said, we get lots to talk about tonight. and I was in a bit of a hurry. So just, but we're not, before we get to it, but I actually screen recorded the press conference that they did this morning or this afternoon in my car while I was sitting at work. So hopefully the sound will be all right. But I did link all the videos and the sources, of course, are linked in the description. So if the videos don't come through too clear on the live stream, you can always go to the description and you can watch the originals. So anyway, I'm telling y'all, you guys better not be messing with Miss Barbara. She'll get you. Ginger says, you're number 2, Barbara. So we'll have a tie. We'll say Echoes and Miss Barb we're in here simultaneously. And then Junior, let's see, did Junior come in second? Chris was here third. Oh, Doodle's here. Hello, Miss Doodle. She was in fourth. How you doing, ma'am? Good to see you. My friend Mustang is here. Where's Mustang? There she is. Good to see you, my friend. Glad to see you. Glad to see everybody here tonight. All right, I think I'm caught up, so we will. Let me get my slideshow up here before I forget. And forgive my hair; it's still wet from the shower. So, because I don't blow dry my hair, I just let it all natural. So, plus it's hot as usual, so I'm just wearing it up, or I'm going to be a big, sweaty. So anyway. Oh, Miss Barbara says he didn't. Echoes didn't give his DNA. I did first. So does it count that me and Echo share DNA? Does that count? Does that count for anything? Oh, y'all kill me. I love you guys. I need a little bit of laughter with the week we've had here. Like I said, it's been just that horrible things going on in Arkansas. It's just going crazy. All right. So, like I said, before we get started, for anybody new here, welcome. I'm a little bit not flustered, just trying. I was in a hurry. This is our True Crime After Dark live stream for the week. We're doing it on Thursday night tonight. Usually we do it every other Thursday and then every other Friday, depending on how schedules work out. So tonight is the Thursday night edition. So, hey, Far. Good to see you, ma'am. Australia is in the house. Good to see you, ma'am. Chris says he blames the NFL starting up. Yeah, and the alleged nut job, that incident that took place in New York City, apparently he blamed, even though he did not play in the NFL. I don't even know. I'm not even going to say his name. I don't know what his name is anyway. Can't think of what it is now. Apparently, he was, I guess, trying to go to because the building that he went into housed a bunch of different places. Some kind of NFL offices were in that building. And apparently, he was maybe trying to get to the NFL office because I'm going to have to see what the latest developments are. But just from what little I've read, he was blaming the NFL. He said he had CTE from playing football, even though he didn't play in the NFL. I think he did play high school football, maybe college. I'm not sure. But anyway, I blame the NFL on a lot of things. But anyway, let me I think some people are popping in here. All right, so as far as here. Oh, my goodness. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. Mr. Steve is in the house. He said, don't pay the ransom. I have escaped. Oh, Mr. Steve, it's so good to see you. Oh, I hope you're doing well. I know you've been out busy doing the good work, boots on the ground. I hope you're getting some rest. It's always good to see Mr. Steve. Yep. I always ask during my live streams, has anybody had a Mr. Steve sighting? Has he popped in anywhere? Is he accounted for? Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Oh, now I'm excited. Mr. Steve is here. We've had a Mr. Steve sighting. It's kind of like Bigfoot sightings now. We're going to have to get somebody's going to have to, with some graphic abilities, to make a Bigfoot meme with Mr. Steve's face on it. We've had a Mr. Steve sighting. Oh goodness. We love Mr. Steve around here. Yep, everybody's saying hi to Mr. Steve. And anybody, most of y'all have wrenches, you can absolutely pop Mr. Steve's link into True Crime Web and any other, all our links, all our friend links. Make sure nobody else is snuck in. There's skits. If I can get it to go there. Come on. Oh goodness, everything is jumping on me. What is going on? To me. Trying to get. There we go. Hello, Skits. Good to see you here. I hope you're feeling better. So we've got now New Zealand and Australia in the house. She says, hey, Southern Gal and everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Once again, I hope you're feeling better. Miss Avery, Unnamed True Crime is here. Hello, ma'am. Good to see you. Mustang says, I hope that doesn't mean 2 more weeks of summer heat. What was sighting of Mr. Steve? Oh God, I'm tired of, because Mustang's in Arkansas too. Yeah, just heat it's just hot everywhere. I'm so ready. I'm almost ready for winter time, and I don't like to be cold either. But anyway, once again, everything is popping up really fast. So I'm trying to keep up. Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Doodle. There is Mr. Steve's link. Please do check out Mr. Steve if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, why not? Once again, if I forgot to welcome anybody new here, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here, whether you're here live or watching on replay. If you're watching on replay, thank you so much. We love our replay crew. We love our lurkers. So if you're watching and not chatting, hello, hello, and welcome. Let's get caught up, and then we'll get to our missing persons. Skit says, I'm better, but nearly losing my voice. Oh no. Oh no. At least you're getting better. At least you're getting better. Mr. Steve says, not admitting anything, but there has never been a Sasquatch sighting and a Mr. Steve sighting at the same time. Telling you. Oh, goodness gracious. That's why we love, one of the many reasons we love Mr. Steve. He's a funny guy. Yep. Yes, everybody please forget to stay hydrated. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Miss Barbara says in her part of the world, I think she's up in Missouri, right? It's a beautiful day. Absolutely. Actually, it wasn't bad here. There was some rain that came through, so it kind of cooled it off a little bit. And then the highs were only in the mid 80s. So it wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. You are very welcome. You're very welcome, ma'am. Oh, is it supposed to pour a storm in your part of Arkansas tonight? Yeah, Mustang's in a different part of that. I think she's up more in the north. I can't remember, northwest, northeast. I can't remember. She's up in the northern part of Arkansas. But yeah, like I said, we had just one little complex of storms that came from the northwest, came down and just kind of clipped where I was working at. So, but like I said, it was all right. But I didn't know we were supposed to have storms. Skit says it is nice and sunny here after a few days rain. Excellent. Northwest. Okay. Northwest. So you were kind of close. How close to you are to Devil's Den? If you don't mind saying, because Devil's Den, I do. Let me see. I'll go ahead and show it. I'll show it again, but did it come up? Can't see it. There it is. You can see there in the top northwest, that little red dot, that's the vicinity of Devil's Den, where Devil's Den is, where these horrible homicides took place. All right. Get caught up once again. Once again, everything's moving slow. Hey, I'll be Frank. If Frank will come up, there they are. Thank you so much. To something euros or pounds or dollars. Just pop in to say hi so I can watch tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Absolutely. So we get to put a cow in the pasture if I can find her. There she is. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's very much appreciated. And thank you for popping in. Yep, definitely be on Replay Crew. Lots of interesting stuff to talk about that we're going to talk about tonight. Oh, pound. Okay, pounds. I knew you were in the, you have to remind me again, in the UK somewhere. UK, I think. Yes, thank you so much for the, very generous. Absolutely. Oh, almost missed. Thank you so much, Mustangs, in a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. We are filling up the hash. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I almost missed it. I went back. I had to go back and everything's jumping. Make sure I didn't miss anything else. Okay. Yes, in the UK. Okay. All right. Thank you once again. All right, so we are going to get started. Mark right there where I left off. Absolutely. Right, so we're going to go over a few missing persons first, and then cover a little bit this missing teenager that we had that's now unfortunately a homicide investigation, and then we will get right into the latest on the Devil's Den, that horrible situation. So first missing person, and I got all these. I pulled these from Facebook, I believe, on all of these missing persons I'm going to share tonight. So this is Bobby Bell, and I do have an article or just basic information. He is missing from, I believe, Tennessee or Memphis. Let me get the article up. All right, so this is Bobby Bell Jr. Is 32 years old. He was last seen July 22nd of 2015. So 10 years now he's been missing from Memphis, Tennessee, still missing. He was last seen in, okay, he disappeared after taking a bus to court in South Memphis on July 22nd, 2015. Bobby was last seen in the area of Fraser and Ayden in Memphis, Tennessee. He was supposed to catch a bus to the court located at College Street and Macklemore in South Memphis. He never returned home, and he's not been seen or heard from since. He only had his phone and his wallet with him when he disappeared. His phone started going straight to voicemail, and the inbox was full, and his phone has since stopped working. They've not been able to, I'm assuming, ping it. And this information comes from the disappearedblog.com. Once again, all the links to all the sources I use are in the description. So they said this phone has stopped working. So I'm assuming they haven't been able to ping it or get anything, try to get any information from it. So Bobby has black hair and brown eyes. He's approximately 5'7" tall and 155 pounds. By the time of his disappearance, he had a goatee and a mustache. Excuse me. His left ear is pierced. He does have several tattoos. He has Taniya, Taniyah, on the left side of his neck. A pokey, Pokey, with a bird on his upper right back, and a pitchfork on his inner forearm. So if you have any information regarding Bobby's disappearance, you can contact the Memphis Police Department at 901-636-4479. So that was Bobby. Let me check. Comments disappear. Oh, there they are. Comments disappeared. Yes, the Devil's Den thing it's horrible, horrible, horrible. Thank you, Ms. Farr. It says prayers for all the missing and their families, praying they come home soon. Absolutely. Yes. All right. Okay, so next we have Mitchell Walters. Sorry, I'm trying to read off the little bitty slide. So Mitchell, get his article to come up. Mitchell is missing from, I believe it is Kilgore, Texas. So the Gregg County Sheriff's Office is asking for help finding 39-year-old Mitchell Walters. He was last seen in the early morning hours of Friday, July 26th of this year, 2025, in the Kilgore, Texas area. He is believed to have been walking toward Tyler, Texas, and he's not been seen since. He was last seen wearing a black t-shirt, blue jeans, and black Nikes. He also has tattoos. The sheriff's office said it didn't give a description of what the tattoos look like. Oh, well, it does. He has MRW on the left side of his neck, a VEDA, VEDA on his right shoulder, and a smoking a gun with a $sign on his left forearm. So if you have seen Mr. Mitchell or have any, or Mr. Walters, or have any information regarding his disappearance, the sheriff's office is asking that you call investigator Zach Kaminsky at 903-237-2544. All right. Mustang says there have been 4 homicides in Tennessee, and they're hunting for a suspect, and they know who it is. Ooh, so they think so that would qualify as either a serial offender or a spree if it's the same person that committed all 4 homicides. Very scary. I'm telling you, the world, in my opinion, the world has been going crazy for a while. I'm gonna have to look into that. Mustang will have to send me some names, or I can look it up. Probably just I'll put in homicides in Tennessee. But then again, oh goodness, Mustang said he left a baby in a random. Oh, I think I know which case you're talking about. Is that the one where they found it was it 3? There was 4 of them. Was it the mom and dad of the baby, and then the other 2? I can't remember who the other 2. Maybe friends. I think I know that case you're talking about. We might, if we have time, we may. I'll look it up. Yes, absolutely. The world is getting eviler. I agree. Absolutely. Okay, so that is the one. Okay, yeah, where they let whoever it is, the suspect, left the baby in the car seat sitting in the yard, and then they found, I think, the mom and dad and 2 other people deceased. Yep. Skid says they got the suspect this morning for that case. Okay. All right, so we talked about Mitchell Walters. Next, we have Bradley Stracener. Let me see what I had on him. I think, once again, this information comes from disappearedblog.com. So Bradley Stracener is 30 years old. He was last seen on October 30th, 2019 in Leesville, Louisiana. He is still missing. He disappeared after leaving home to return a car to his girlfriend. Now, I might end up doing a video on this because I'm just giving the basic information tonight, but apparently there's a lot more little things going on with this case. So Bradley was born on July 29th, 1989. He is a member of the Four Winds tribe in the Louisiana Cherokee Confederacy. Says he loves the outdoors. He is a woodsman. His loved ones say that it is uncharacteristic of him to go missing without being in contact with them. So on October 30th, 2019, Bradley was visiting friends in Sandy Hill, Louisiana. Around 1:45 p.m., he left the apartment that he shared with a roommate to return a car to his girlfriend, which is about 10 miles away. Bradley never made it to his destination. He has not been heard from again. At around 6:30 a.m. on October 31st, 2019, the car that Bradley was last seen in was found abandoned near leased hunting property on Bundix Road near Highway 10, which is about 2 miles away from where he was last seen. The vehicle was found unlocked with the keys sitting on the passenger seat. Authorities found no sign of a struggle, anything of that nature. Multiple searches of the area were conducted, but no clues as to Bradley's whereabouts or what happened were found. Bradley's mother, Tony, is now a Louisiana director for the nonprofit organization Q, which stands for Community United Effort. It is also known as the Center for Missing Persons. So in May of 2022, Q organized a search in the Sandy Hills area for Bradley with the assistance of cadaver dogs, but the search unfortunately turned up nothing. No leads, no clues, no evidence, anything like that. Sorry, my computer's running very slow. So authorities do suspect foul play in Bradley's disappearance, though no suspects or persons of interest have been named. The location of Bradley, as well as the circumstances surrounding his disappearance, remain unknown. Obviously, his case is unsolved. So Bradley is a white Native American male, born on July 29th, 1989. He has brown red hair, brown eyes. He is 5 foot 10 inches tall and weighs approximately 150 to 185 pounds. It says that he may have a mustache, a goatee, or a full beard. He has a large amount of body hair on his chest and his back. It is unknown what he was wearing when he disappeared. So if you have any information regarding Bradley's disappearance, contact the Vernon Parish Sheriff's Office at 337-238-1311 or Q or Center for Missing Persons at 910-343-1131. So yeah, like I said, when I was looking into this one, I was reading some articles and some comments on the Facebook post, and there might be a little bit more going on than just what it seems on the face of the case, of the fact, or the circumstances, I should say. So I may look into this one a little bit more and see what I can come up with. Let's see. Get caught up in here a little bit, and then I will yep, Miss Saint said, or Junior said, I think we just pay attention to all the bad things. There's wonderful things going on. Absolutely. And I believe truly that there are more good things going on than bad things, but it's just the nature of mainstream media, social media, just, what do they say? If it bleeds, it leads, all the reporting and the coverage is done on the bad stuff that happens. But absolutely, I believe that there's more good being done out there than bad. So, and I think that there are some people may not, certain people may not want us to believe it, but I believe that there are definitely more good people than bad people out there, and that we all get along a lot better than some persons with have people believe. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Chris says, I think the Tennessee suspect is an ex-teacher. Now, when we get into the Devil's Den, speaking to teachers, The Devil's Den suspect. Yep. He was a teacher. He had applied to be a teacher, I believe, in Springdale here in Arkansas. He had not, I think he had been accepted. Fortunately, school has not started here yet. I think it starts probably this coming week. In the next couple of weeks, schools are going to be starting. But he was a licensed teacher in, I think, Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm going to read the article. An article that tells about some of the things that were said about things that happened when he was teaching in those other states. So very, very scary. Very scary. There's Miss Taylor. Hello, hello, ma'am. Good to see you. Please do check out Taylor. That's her channel. I think her name is the channel name too, right, Miss Taylor? Okay, so Chris says in the Tennessee case, the suspect is named Austin Robert Drummond. Excellent. I will definitely look at it. Oh, Miss Taylor had a live stream. I'll have to check it out. Have to be replay crew. Just getting caught up, and then we'll go to our few more missing persons, and then we'll get on with it. Thank you very much. Doodlebug's already on it. There's Miss Taylor's channel link, and there's Skitz's channel link. Yes, the Devil's Den offender got arrested getting a haircut. Apparently, he's been in Springdale the last 5 days. He had a house there, from what I understand, and made no effort to hide his vehicle. Apparently, he was staying at his house, decided to go get a haircut, and they didn't say exactly. We'll get into it. They didn't say exactly how they found him out getting his haircut, but they knew who he was. So maybe they were keeping an eye on him. I don't know, or waiting for him to pop up somewhere. But yeah, there's video, and I don't know if I was going to upload that video. They actually have video from I guess inside of the hair salon of him getting arrested. I don't think I uploaded it. I'll upload it and put it on the my community page. There's Miss Paula. I thought you were going to the movies tonight, Miss Paula. She said she was going to go see the new what is the new Fantastic Four movie. My other brother, my younger brother and nephew went to see it the other night, or the other day, yesterday, the day before. They said it was good. Thank you, Mary, but I can't talk very much. There is Miss Paula. Nice to see you too. Miss Farr says, talking about Devil's Den, I think they saw the car outside the hairdressers. That, yeah, absolutely. Because that's how they found out who he was in the first place, was they figured out what kind of car he had. They did a search. I'm going to give everything away before I get to it. They did a search of all those. He drove a Mazda Stinger, I think it was. So they did a search of everybody who owned that particular model of vehicle in the area, and they came up with him. Plus, DNA found at the scene matched his DNA. So, and Miss Barbara says, yes, they saw his car outside of the hairdressers and they arrested him in the middle of a haircut. I watched the video today. So Miss Barbara's seen the video. She knows what I'm talking about. Yep. Skit says, you only got half a haircut. That's what you get. Oh, Miss Paula, we have to go watch Miss Paula's review after this. She posted her live review of the show. Runtime was perfect length. It ended at 9. It was a 6:30 movie. Excellent. Yes. I was trying to, everything's jumping. Yes, they are seeking, or they said that the DP is on the table in that case. Absolutely. Yep. And Arkansas, goodness, everything I try to hit something, it jumps. Yes. And Arkansas actually carries out. Okay, let's get to these missing persons right quick. Right, so next we have Angelina Dudley. Let me get Make sure I got her information. Turn my camera off right quick while it's coming up. So Angelina is missing from Reynoldsburg. Where? Goodness gracious. I'm sure it says on the side. Ohio. Reynoldsburg, or from Ohio. All right, so police are searching for a 17-year-old girl who was reported missing Thursday from Reynoldsburg. The Gahanna Division of Police said that Angelina Dudley went missing after she left her father's home in Reynoldsburg. Angelina is around 5 feet 7 inches tall and 105 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a black t-shirt with white lettering and gray sweatpants. Anyone with information about Angelina's whereabouts is asked to call the Gahanna Division of Police at 614-342-4240. So that is Angelina, 17 years old. All right. Next, we have Isaac Marshall Bell. Let me find his information. See if this is it. This comes from, this comes from Facebook, this information. Isaac Marshall Bell was discovered to be missing the morning of August 25th, 2023. So a little bit over 2 years ago, after his van was found wrecked near the intersection of Highway 104 and Tatumville Road. His disappearance has remained mostly unknown, with zero coverage other than posts from his loved ones. Sorry, it jumped. His case was submitted to Nyeasha on July 21st, 2025. So that's the reason we do this. That statement that is made about his disappearance has gotten almost zero coverage. So according to the Nyeasha report, Isaac's van is believed to have gone airborne and came to rest, hitting a tree. The airbags were deployed. The windows and sunroof of the van were found open, and Isaac's keys and phone were left inside. The wreck is believed to have occurred sometime in the early hours of the morning, but the exact time is unknown. And Isaac has been missing ever since. So they found no sign of Isaac at the scene, at the accident scene. So according to a Facebook comment, the only sign of Isaac that has been found is a shirt that he is believed to have been wearing when he disappeared. The shirt was found by a relative near the site of the accident. So Isaac was 47 years old at the time he went missing. He is a white male, 5 foot 7 inches tall, 180 pounds, with a bald head and hazel eyes. It says Isaac was in contact with his family the night before the wreck, but they have not seen or heard from him since then. So if you have any information about Isaac's location or disappearance, call the Dyer County Sheriff's Office at 731-285-2802. All right. So that is Isaac. And next we have this Cam. And I found this on our own Miss PJ's Facebook page, lighting their way home. I haven't seen Miss PJ tonight, but somebody can throw her link in. This is Shaye Campbell. And I'm going to have to bring it up bigger so I can read it. Takes a minute to come up on Facebook. Is missing from, I believe, New Hampshire. Let me read missing from, and I'm Chichester, New Hampshire. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He was last seen on July 8th of 2025. He was 15 when he went missing. He would now be 16. 5 foot 7 inches tall, 125 pounds, with blonde hair and green eyes. It says if Shaye is located, please contact the Chichester Police Department right away. Shaye is known to be confrontational. So they said, like, don't approach, just call. 911 is usually, going to be your best bet. But the Chichester Police Department number is 603-798-4911, or your local 911. So that is Shaye Campbell. We have Trisha Baker. Once again, this came from Miss PJ's page. Get that information. And Trisha is missing once again from New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire. She was last seen on June 5th, 2025. 39 years old when she went missing, still 39, 5 foot 5 inches tall, 140 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She went missing on June 5th, 2025. She is homeless, and she has not been in contact with anyone since that date. So if you have any information, don't hesitate to get in touch with the Manchester Police Department at 603-668-8711, or once again, just call 911. Let's see if there's any other. I think that was the same information. All right. So that was Trisha. This is Nyeasha Pickins. Let me get that article. Whoa. Everything's jumping. So this is an article from WALB.com. It was an update released in Missing 19-Year-Old's Disappearance. It is from July 12th of 2025. The Cordell Police Department announced on Saturday that the appearance of a missing 19-year-old may have changed. CPD said that Nyeasha Pickins may not have red hair now, but the outfit in the photo is what she was last seen wearing. It was previously reported that she was last seen in a white crop top and cheetah print shorts with Big Mama written across the back. She is 19 years old. Cordell Police Chief Jalen Hurd said that the department is receiving a lot of tips from the community, which is always good, which have been useful in continuing the investigation. He says multiple law enforcement agencies have collaborated to bring the 19-year-old home. On the Turner County Sheriff's Office loaned their drones and some manpower to CPD. Using the drones allowed officers to get a better look at several fields and open spaces nearby, but they were not successful at uncovering any new information. Hurd says, I just want to reemphasize that any searches that you see from law enforcement that are in fields or on the side of the road or anything like that, we don't have any credible information that Nyeasha is in danger or that something has happened to her. Obviously, as the days go by, it's more concerning, but we don't have anything credible right now. So those close to Nyeasha and other news outlets have reported that on the night of her disappearance, she was seen leaving a gas station with a particular man. Chief Hurd said, I can tell you that the name comes from Cordell police officer's initial report. As you can imagine, a lot of information comes in when the investigation started. There was some information that was received stating that a possible Quan might have been with her. I can tell you that lead was investigated, looked into. There was no information obtained from it. The family said that they are spending the day searching near and around Lake Blackshear. So anyone with information on Nyeasha's whereabouts is asked to call the tip line at 1-800-597-8477. Or you can use the Send app or just call 911, obviously. And it didn't give, let me see if I can make this bigger and read. So Nyeasha is currently missing and authorities are actively investigating her disappearance. She was last seen in the early morning hours of July 6, 2025. Around 2 a.m. at the Inn Market located at 402 North 7th Street in Cordell, Georgia. And Nyeasha is described as 5'6" tall, 160 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair, which may be red or have red in it. She was last seen wearing a white crop top and cheetah print shorts with Big Mama written across the back. The case is being treated with the highest urgency, and all available investigative resources are focused on locating Nyeasha and ensuring her safe return. So once again, you can call the GBI tip line at 1-800-597-8477. Just all these apps. Okay, so Doodlebug says, remind me, says, Dawn, if you will or have time, will you mention Cile, Kyle Stewart? She is the only one of my Mystic Camp girls still not found. Yes, absolutely. Just remind me. I just saw that comment when I was looking. All right. Okay, so those are our missing persons. This is our William Braden Roberson was a missing person, a case here in Arkansas. Unfortunately, it has turned into a homicide case. Let me find it's hot. Hold on. To wipe my face. So first I'm gonna read a short article, and then I have just about a 2-minute video with some reaction from the community. This is a horribly sad case, as they all are, but all right. So officials released new information pertaining to Camden teenager killed over the weekend. And this is from Camden, Arkansas. The Ouachita County Sheriff's Department has released new details surrounding the disappearance and homicide of Braden Roberson, who was found deceased earlier this week. The 18-year-old out of Camden was reported missing on Friday, July 25th, after he left his home to meet with his ex-girlfriend to discuss their relationship during the evening hours on Thursday. The Ouachita County Sheriff's Department partnered with the Camden Police Department and the Arkansas State Police to investigate his disappearance. Investigators conducted interviews with possible suspects they believed to be responsible for his disappearance. Detectives determined the exact location where an altercation occurred and collected evidence from that scene. After conducting interviews, officials arrested 3 suspects: Bryson Vaughn, 22, Melanie Pipkin, 22, and Cameron Hildebrand, 19. The 3 were taken into custody for capital homicide, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. After a thorough search, investigators recovered Roberson's body on July 28th in a wooded area in Union County near Norflet. Roberson's body will be sent to the Arkansas State Crime Lab for a confirmed ID as well as the COD. The circumstances surrounding Cameron's death are still under investigation. Chief Deputy Larry McMahon said, quote, the Ouachita County Sheriff's Department extends its deepest condolences to the Barrett family and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. We are grateful to the community, volunteers, and partner agencies who assisted in the search efforts. Further information will be released as it becomes available and appropriate. So that is the background. It's just horrible. And on the slide there, let me go back and let me see. The top 3 pictures were different pictures of Braden, and then the bottom 3 pictures, I believe, are the suspects that have now been arrested and charged with capital M. So I do have, I think, about a 2-minute video. So I will turn my camera off.
A young life cut down, 3 other young people facing charges for killing him. It's a crime that has Camden, Arkansas, shocked. It's where we start tonight on T311 News at 10. I'm Burley Hoyt.
And I'm Faith Woodard. Searchers found 18-year-old Braden Roberson yesterday in rural Ouachita County. They had been looking since his disappearance last Thursday.
And now 3 other people around Roberson's age are in jail facing capital murder charges.
Our Carter Thweed spent the day in South Arkansas, where people there are reacting to the deadly turn of events.
And we had recently lost a young man, and so of course I was thinking, oh no, not again, and then of course it turned into something else.
Patrick Flanagan of the Camden City Council is referring to the devastating death of 18-year-old Braden Roberson. His body found just 30 minutes outside Camden in a wooded area.
We don't have a lot of, murders and things down here, but when they do, it shocks everyone.
Here at Camden City Hall, City Alderman Josh Steed tells me a tragic event like this one hits even harder in a town like Camden.
It's tragic because it hits home. When you live in a town of 10,000 people, if you don't know everybody, you may not know every person you see, but in a town like this, if you don't know them directly, it's somebody that you know knows them, and it's a very small world. Your lives overlap and intersect.
Both Steed and Flanagan can attest to that. Steed from his church, and Flanagan from his career as a teacher.
I had a lot of students that were connected to the young man, and I don't believe he went to the school that I work at, but a lot of students knew who he was.
That young man had visited our church a couple times in years past.
The Ouachita County Sheriff's Department has arrested 3 people in connection to the case: Bryson Vaughn, Melanie Pipkin, and Cameron Hildebrand, each of which is charged with capital murder and tampering with physical evidence. With the suspects now in custody, neighbors have begun to come together to uplift one another in mourning.
Respect the family's privacy at this time. Don't go around spreading any rumors or anything like that.
Just be there for one another when tragedies like this do happen. And I just pray that they're few and far between before there's ever another one like this ever again.
For THV 11 Morning News, I'm Carter Thweet.
Carter, thank you. A candlelight vigil has been planned for Roberson on Thursday at Timothy Methodist Park.
The Ouachita County judge also sent us a statement mourning the loss and thanking community members for searching for Braden, as well as their support.
All right, so that was, like I said, just a little reaction from the community. Just a horrible case, absolutely. So I'll keep up with this, and if anything else comes out when they start going to court, I will let you guys know. All right, let me get caught up in comments, and then we will get on to this Devil's Den. Horrible thing. But lots of good information came out today. And I apologize, the video was probably choppy, but once again, the links to the original videos through YouTube are linked in the description, so you can feel free to go back to rewatch them. Absolutely. Get down to where I was at. Okay, there I was. There I is. Y'all talking about Doodle's talking about racing stripes. Y'all talking about cars here? Yeah, Junior said talking about the Devil's Den knucklehead. They said he had not taken the tape off his license plate. Dumb as a doorknob. Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, he was, when we get into it, he evidently wasn't really concerned with, I guess he thought he was one of those that thinks he's the smartest person in the room, is not going to get caught, even though he was in Springdale in his house for the past 5 days and went out to get a haircut and got, that's how he got caught. But you don't catch the smart ones. You don't catch the smart ones. Oh, talking about his mohawk haircut. Yep, like I said, you don't catch the smart ones, or sometimes you do. Most of the times you do, but you definitely catch the stupid ones. Yep, Doodlebug says we seriously need more funding for mental health. Absolutely. Yep, Skit says the funny thing is they believe they're smart when they were just plain out dumb. Absolutely. Oh, Miss Barb says the Devil's Den offender. The eyes look the same as Brian Kohlberger and the guy in Arkansas. I hadn't thought about that. Hadn't thought about that. Let's see. Right, I'll save these comments because. All right, so like I said, well, thoughts, prayers are going out to Braden's family, obviously, and I will keep an eye on this when things start moving along through the court process. If they take a plea or whatever happens, once again, it's alleged they're innocent until proven guilty. So, all right, let me mark right there. All right, so this is. What's his name? James Andrew McGann. This is the alleged suspect in the Devil's Den homicides. And actually, the sketch they did from a composite sketch from the witnesses actually is pretty decently close, at least I thought. But he was arrested yesterday getting his haircut once again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He went to all the to cover up the license plate, and then he stays didn't even try to get away from where he perpetrated his crime. He stays, I don't know how far Springdale is from the state park. I don't think it's that far away. Goes out to get a haircut and gets caught. All right, so this article it's from thv11.com, one of our local news outlets, and it is from, get all the ads out of the way. Officials announced the arrest of Andrew James McGann for the Devil's Den double homicide, and this is from July 31st, so today, or is updated today. So state officials, including Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, announced Wednesday night that 28-year-old Andrew James McGann was arrested in connection with the Devil's Den double homicide. McGann was taken into police custody at 4:57 p.m. on July 30th, which was 4 days after the bodies of 43-year-old, and let me put up their pictures because that is way more important than this knuckleheads pictures. Let me find them. I remember to upload them. Where are they at? There they are. So these are the victims. McGann was taken into custody yesterday, 4 days after the bodies of 43-year-old Clinton and 41-year-old Kristen Brink were found at Devil's Den State Park on July 26th. So police reportedly found the suspect at a barber shop in Springdale. It is not immediately clear at this time how police found and arrested McGann. I think somebody in chat mentioned that they probably just saw his car because they knew what his vehicle was. They used flock cameras to track the car and find it. So the couple, who were new to Arkansas, were hiking with their two daughters when the two were allegedly stabbed by McGann. The two girls were not injured in the attack, thank goodness. And so when this first came out, when it first happened, they did not release the manner of death. The manner of death is how they were. Of course, that's not unusual, but I had in my mind, just me thinking, my unprofessional opinion, that in my opinion, it couldn't have been, or most likely would not have been, a firearm, because it was, a public place. There were other people around. So unless he used a firearm with a silencer, that would have drawn too much attention. So then I thought maybe blunt force trauma, hitting them with something, or a knife. So when they had the press conference last night, they did announce that they were stabbed. So during a press conference hours after the arrest, Governor Sanders, along with Arkansas State Police Colonel Mike Hager and other officials, updated the public on the latest investigation in the case. Sanders said a crime like this should never happen, and said calling the Brink family was one of the hardest things that she has had to do. So calling the family basically the death notification. I can't imagine. And it hurts my brain and my heart. I can't even think about the girls, what they saw, what they went through. Just my heart is broken for them. Absolutely. So she says, no news can heal the enormous harm done to the Brink family in last weekend's crime. But this announcement is a comfort and reassurance for our state. And they also mentioned in the press conference that they had another child, another girl. So they had 3 girls in all, but the third daughter was not with them on the day that this happened. So on Thursday, Arkansas State Police held another press conference where Hagar said that DNA evidence found at the crime scene matches McGann's DNA, and that he reportedly admitted to committing the homicides. And this is according to Arkansas State Police Captain Stacy Rhodes, said that McGann acted alone. So McGann was interviewed after his arrest by authorities, and he, quote, made statements indicating that he had committed 2 homicides. And this was according to a preliminary report at the time that was obtained by a sister station. Officials said that blood was found at the scene due to injuries that the suspect sustained during the attack. Hagar told the press that there was no indication at this time if the children were the targets. Now, when we get into, and we don't, want to speculate, but just when we get into in this article, it talks about some things that had happened when he was teaching at the other schools, I think in Oklahoma and Texas, that just in my opinion, maybe the girls were the targets. But so Hagar told the press there was no indication at this time if the children were the targets during the attack. Officials say there was no association between the suspect and victims, and it just appeared to be random. So they could find, as far as, now of course they're going to dig a lot more, but as of this time they have found nothing to indicate that they knew each other before this happened. So Rhodes, Stacy Rhodes, with Arkansas State Police, said that the husband was attacked first. And just, it breaks my heart reading this. The husband was attacked first. The wife took the children to safety before returning to her husband. She was then attacked by the suspect when she went to help her husband. She said nothing about this case is conventional, and that it was a worst nightmare scenario. I just can't imagine. So Rhodes also indicated that social media speculation hindered the investigation into the homicide. So now I've not watched any. The only other social media creator type things that I've watched on this is, I think, Gizela from Grizzly True Crime the other day did. I believe this is before he was arrested, or maybe just right after. Did just like a little 30-minute live stream, but apparently there was some people on social media, and it may not have been YouTube, it might not have been creators, it could have just been people, people talking. But they said that speculation had hindered the investigation. Rhodes said that McGann recently moved to Arkansas from Oklahoma and was recently employed at a Springdale school as a teacher. Once again, he had just been hired. Springdale School had not started yet, so he had not actually taught at the Springdale School. Says although he was hired, he did not start, and he did not come into contact with teachers or students at Springdale. So McGann previously worked as a teacher at Broken Arrow Public Schools. He was also certified in Texas to teach. So in a 2023 email shared with CBS News, a school administrator at Donald Elementary School in Flower Mound, Texas, said that McGann was placed on leave due to, quote, poor classroom management and poor professional judgment. The investigation reportedly found, quote, no evidence of inappropriate behavior with the student, but did find that he was below the district's expectations when it came to classroom judgment and management. He resigned immediately, according to the email. The Brink family moved to Prairie Grove from South Dakota, and 10 days before the attack, they started their water service. They were getting everything set up. At this time, there is no motive announced by police or if the suspect knew the victims, but they have come out and said in the press conference, as far as, at this time, they have found no connection. So McGann is facing 2 counts of capital homicide. He is expected in court as early as August 1st, and officials indicated that the DP is on the table. So that was just, and I'm going to play the press conference. And the press conference video is a little bit lengthy, but it gives a lot of good information. Hopefully, at least the sound will come through. Like I said, once again, you can the link to the original video from the YouTube channel. I think I used THV11's coverage. Is linked in the description, so you can go back and watch it. It's just because it and let me get back down to where I was. Get caught up in comments, and then we'll watch the press conference. But yeah, that's the question when this first came out that I always had. Was, and thank God they weren't hurt, but why would the offender at the time, of course, is before, when after it happened, why did he just take the life of the parents and didn't harm the kids? Which, once again, that's a good thing that the kids weren't harmed, but I'm just like, what was the motive? What was the reasoning behind that? So now we know that the father was attacked first. The mother took the girls, took off running to get them to a safe place. She then went back to help her husband, and then that's when she was killed. It's just horrible. All right, let me get caught up in your comments. So Doodle had said, I mean, it's a sad that you can't even take your family on a nice walk in a park without being locked and loaded, but this is a new day way of life, unfortunately. I know. And certain members of my family, no matter where we're going, I can neither confirm nor deny that they have a concealed carry permit, and they have a little friend with them wherever we go. It's just that's the day and age we're living in, unfortunately. Yep, I don't know if it's happening more often, or if we just, like I said, we just hear about it more. I think it's a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Yep, Skit says too often than we would like to admit. Okay, Chris said Isaac's case is where the recent Tennessee case is. Okay. Yep, Doodle says it's almost feeling like good versus evil all the time. Yep. And not to get, too religious, but anybody who's a believer, if you're a believer, and if you've read Revelation, a lot of these things that are happening lately, as far as how people have become, things that have been happening with all the flooding, earthquakes. We had a 8.8 earthquake in Russia, the biggest one in like 14 years. You just got to wonder. Like I said, I don't want to get too religious, but anybody who subscribes to that way of thinking, the signs are there. But anyway, yep. Chris says, I wish people took mental health seriously instead of just brushing it aside. Absolutely. Yep. Hey, Miss PJ, your ears must have been burning. We were talking about you earlier. I was using some of your missing persons that you had posted on your Facebook page to share out earlier at the beginning. But welcome. Good to have you here, my dear. Yeah, see, I never understood that when they gave his description, because Junior said the Devil's Den guy also wore gloves with no fingers and left his fingerprints everywhere. Yeah, they said he was wearing fingerless gloves. I'm like, well, that's not smart. Why, if you wear fingerless gloves, you're going to leave fingerprints. I don't think he was the brightest crayon in the box, and he may have mental health issues. I don't know. It's just, oh, let's see. Hey, Miss Peggy. Good to have you here, ma'am. From the East Coast. Thank you, ma'am. The Doodle put in Miss PJ's channel. Oh, talking about typos. I have typos all the time. Yep, Chris says, going back to the missing persons, I hope that Nyeasha gets found. Absolutely. And I'll probably end up doing my short missing videos on most of the missing persons that we talked about earlier. Absolutely. Miss Peggy says, good to be here and see you all. Good to see you too, ma'am. Hope you're doing well. Doodle says she's in slow-mo today. I'm in slow-mo every day, 24/7. Which case are you talking about, Miss Paula? Miss Paula asked if it was considered suspicious. Yeah, I know. PJ says, yeah, because usually after someone unalives someone, we want to go out and get a haircut. I know. I just don't understand it. Don't understand. It's almost like he wanted to get caught. I don't know. Dill says, yeah, right, like it's going to change their face. Yeah, because, and they mentioned in the press conference when we get the video, somebody asked, did I think they were asking Stacey Rhodes, the Arkansas State Police person, that, did they think that he was going to get a haircut to try to change his appearance? And, she said, well, it could be, obviously, but then again, it's, if he was just going to start teaching, he might just been getting a haircut, getting ready for school to start. So, Miss Paul says, what's his IQ level? In my opinion, it's not very high. Yep, he did. He basically confessed. They called it an admission right now, but yeah, he basically admitted to it, and his DNA, the DNA found at the crime scene was matched to his DNA. So once again, he is innocent until and unless proven guilty. But in my opinion, they got the right dude. Yeah, see, I read some, and Miss Barbara said, I heard he lost his job as a teacher because he was, doing inappropriate things with younger girls. Yeah, there have been, I read some articles where people from the other schools, like from maybe from the Texas school, parents had come forward and said that their younger daughters had said that there was that he was just creepy. They called him a creep. He was just, some inappropriate stuff was going on, things said, things done. Now, once again, they haven't mentioned this officially, so it's just kind of a, take it with a grain of salt. But in my opinion, I would not be surprised. That's why I said maybe, possibly, the girls were the target if it is true that he had exhibited this kind of behavior with younger children, younger girls in the past. Now, once again, nothing, what grain of salt, nothing has been proven or released publicly by law enforcement on that aspect, but that's just, just something to think about. And Miss Barbara said he did not take the tape off his plates. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I guess I could take this down right now. Okay. Sorry, my comments jumped again. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Doodle says, I mean, at least take them off or steal new ones. Isn't that in the Criminal for Dummies book? Yeah. Apparently he missed that. Oh, I'm sure they sent someone in person. Because you said you would think they would send someone in person to tell the families instead of calling them. I hope they sent, I'm assuming they did send someone in person. Because I don't know, I'm sure our dear governor didn't go in person, but she did call them. But I'm sure they sent somebody in person to make the notification. Absolutely. Just getting caught up. Yep, Miss Doodle knows what I was saying earlier. Just read Revelation. Even if you're not a believer, just read Revelation. All the signs are there. You are more than welcome, Miss PJ. Absolutely. Absolutely. Read Revelation. Say it doesn't matter. You're doesn't matter what religion you are or not a believer. That's your choice. I respect everybody's position, whatever position you have on religion. But yeah, just read Revelation. How did Miss Paul said? How did it get its name? What are you talking about? How did what get its name? Braden's case. What do you mean, Miss Paula? My brain has got heat stroke. I'm not understanding. Yeah, my brain. Doodle says her brain is on pause, needs to update. Mine too, ma'am. It's not a nose job. Oh, you're talking about the haircut. They think it changes their appearance, but come on, it's not a nose job. All right, I think I'm caught up. Okay, so let me mark right there. So we're going to play the press conference. Hopefully at least the audio, it might be a little glitchy, but hopefully at least the audio will come through fairly clear. I don't know, the video will be choppy probably. But once again, the original is linked in the description. Please feel free to go back and watch it. It's about 38 minutes long. And we'll probably pause here and there to check comments and discuss things that are said. But yes, Miss Doodle, I can read your nonsense. You and me speak the same nonsense. We speak the same language. I understand. All right, so we will get into the press conference. So I'm going to I may mute myself too, and then hopefully if I stop it and make a comment, hopefully I will remember to unmute myself. All right, so let me take this down. We will get started on the press conference. Hold on. Thank you, Junior. Junior said he's heading to bed. Thank you, sir, for being here. Junior is always here, loyal supporter. Have a good night, Junior. Absolutely. What did I do? Oh, my goodness. I got too many buttons here. I'm pushing. Thank you, Junior. We will see you. Absolutely. Yes, have a safe night and sleep well. All right. Right, now let me change that back to this, and we'll get the video going.
That's some bullet point information, and I'm sure it's going to spawn a lot of questions. We're going to try to answer as many of those questions as we can. I want to introduce our partners. Well, actually, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but we do have our two deputy directors investigators, Lieutenant Colonel Mike Kennedy, Lieutenant Colonel Jason Aaron, that are with us, and I believe the rest of the people behind me will speak, and I'll let them introduce themselves. I want to start by thanking our investigators. It's hard to express the amount of time and effort and energy that goes into an investigation like this. You could see it on their face when we walked into headquarters last night, had the opportunity to see them, talk to them, thank them in person. At the culmination of this, they're absolutely exhausted. They put every bit of their heart and soul into this investigation to get this suspect brought into custody and taken off the streets. And I cannot thank them enough for that. Also want to thank our law enforcement partners. We are truly blessed in Arkansas. It's not always common, and that's unfortunate, but we have a relationship with our state, local, and federal counterparts that's second to none. There was an incredible amount of cooperation and collaboration that went into this investigation. No part is less than any other's part. There's a total package that has to be looked at, has to be investigated, and these groups work together in a very impressive way, and we can't thank them enough. Not just on this case, but in every case that we work within state police. To have that partnership with them is really valuable. I want to thank the public for providing images and videos from cell phones, home and business security footage that directly advanced this investigation. We'll talk a little bit more about how that played out, but the information that was put out and the request for information back from the public directly resulted in this person being brought into custody. It allowed our investigators a starting point to move forward and to use their skills that they've developed over the years and their experience to bring this person into custody. We had about 500 tips that came in through our phone lines, social media. Not only were there a lot of tips that came in, and we're very thankful for that, but there's a lot of people that have to field those tips, and it's not all badge-wearing, gun-toting members of the state police or Department of Public Safety. We had a lot of civilian personnel that were tasked with that. There was a lot of time and energy spent on triaging those tips and making sure they went to the right people. And so we owe a great gratitude for that support staff that helped with this as well. Although everyone is innocent until proven guilty, we did confirm this morning that our suspect's DNA has been a positive match to the DNA that we suspected to belong to our suspect at the scene. During an interview with investigators.
So I'm just going to pause it right there for a minute, because since I said that it was a stabbing, I'm assuming that it was the blood that they matched, or that was found at the scene. That is where they got the DNA to match to the suspect. That's just my assumption.
The suspect indicated that he did commit these murders. executed a search warrant at his residence. There were articles found there that are consistent with being involved in this particular crime, and I will let Major Rhodes speak more of that, or more to those details. We do believe he acted alone. We have absolutely no reason to believe that there's anyone else involved, and we do not anticipate any future arrest or any other arrest beyond this suspect. I'm going to go ahead and pass off to Major Stacy Rhodes. She can walk through a little bit more of the information, and I'll return to the podium and we'll answer any questions we can. Thanks.
You're sick. On vacation. And now your wife.
Through a little bit more of the information, and I'll return to the podium and we'll answer any questions we can. Thanks.
Well, good afternoon. As he indicated, I'm Major Stacy Rhodes, oversee the Criminal Investigation Division for the State Police. And I kind of want to walk you through how we initiated and progressed through our investigation. So, as you all know, we responded to a call for service at the state parks. Two young children were found and indicated that something had happened to their parents on the trail. That initial information that came from the kids gave us our first starting point, which was a description of a suspect. There was another witness at the park that we encountered.
So she said that the initial, I know it's kind of choppy, so the girls are actually the ones, I'm assuming, when the mother took off running with the girls and sent them, probably told them to run. They're the ones that found somebody. I don't know if it was at the visitor center or if that's just where they ended up afterwards. But the girls were actually the ones that made the initial report about their parents and gave the initial description. It's just amazing. These two little girls, they were, I believe, 7 and 9 years old. Just amazing what they did. Hopefully it'll start playing again. Come on.
Completed and let me kind of, we'll start there. So from there, we had a pretty good description of our suspect. We did our initial release. Other witnesses came forward that were on the trail during the time that the murders occurred, that did not see the murders, but brought forth video footage, photographs that they had taken on their day trip to the park. From that, we obtained a photo. We interviewed witnesses and were able to compile a composite sketch of what we believed our suspect looked like. With that, we received dozens and dozens of tips. With the initial vehicle information that we received, it being a black sedan. One of the initial descriptions was that it was sporty. From that, we received well over 5 or 6, maybe close to 10 videos of this particular car from homes and businesses along the routes in and out of the park. So we were able to ascertain a pretty good description of this vehicle. So with that vehicle information, that became critical in identifying our suspect. So with the photos or the tips that came in with the composite and the photo, as the colonel said, we received over 500 tips. And initially we were using the names and information to come out to compare with, did they have black vehicles? Did they meet a certain criteria of vehicles? But as we began to hone in on the vehicle, it became clear that it was a Kia Stinger. And we used that information to vet various owners, and our suspect was identified, and with that we sought him out and we located him at a local barber shop there in Springdale. We took him into custody, and with that we spoke to him, and he made statements indicating that he had committed these heinous acts. And our job didn't stop there. We executed a search warrant on his house and also on the vehicle. We are still waiting a lot of testing at the crime lab. But as the colonel said, DNA that was recovered at the initial crime scene matched his DNA that we pulled last night. Colonel, or I'm sorry.
Yeah, the sound is cutting out, but it's not, you're not missing any of the words. It just stops for a minute, but it picks right up where it left off. So you're getting all the words. But like I said, once again, the link to the original video from YouTube is in the description. So absolutely feel free to go back and watch it. But yeah, you're not missing really any of the words. It just stops for a second and then it comes right back on. But I do know it's annoying, and I apologize. It's my farm signal. You're very welcome, Miss Paula. So it might take it a minute to start back up again. Seems like I guess I need to quit stopping it because it takes a minute to start back up. It should be starting again in a second, hopefully. Any day now. Come on.
DNA that we pulled last night. Colonel, or I'm sorry.
Good afternoon. My name is Brandon Carter. I'm the prosecuting attorney for Washington County, Arkansas. The first thing I want to say here today is that my thoughts are with the Briggs family. There are 3 girls who tragically lost their parents in this case. And although today is a good day for law enforcement, there's a shadow over it because of the tragedy that occurred on Saturday. I want to commend the state police for the work they did in this case. I couldn't be more proud to be an Arkansan today. I couldn't be more proud to be a resident of Northwest Arkansas right now, and I'm confident and satisfied with the work that law enforcement did in this case, especially I want to note the cooperation I saw between local agencies in this case. I could name them all off, but I have a list here of 7 to 9 agencies that worked hand in hand to quickly solve this crime, and I commend every law enforcement officer that worked on this case. I also commend any member of the public that provided us information that led to the solving of this crime. I want the public to know that they're safe. The defendant in this case is innocent until he's proven guilty. But I'm confident that we have the right defendant in this case, and that the public need not worry going forward. Someday they're going to open Devil's Den State Park, and I'll be on the trail myself when that happens. The defendant will be spending time in Washington County Circuit Court over the course of the coming days. It is my intention to use the full weight of my office to bring this defendant to justice for the Brinks family.
Before we open for questions, just want to touch real briefly on something that gets lost in this sometimes, and that's the family story. We've spoken to the family quite a few times over the last several days, and what we heard consistently is what a loving mother and father they were, loving husband and wife that they were towards each other. They absolutely...
I've always been devoted to the Bible. And now that it showed me how to get rid of my toenail fungus
towards each other, they absolutely protected those girls to their fullest extent, to the point that it cost them their lives. We're in awe of this mom and dad. We're also in awe of these girls. The information that they were able to provide to start us down this path to be able to make this arrest, it all started with those 2 little girls. It's incredible. We also don't want to forget that there was a 3rd sister. Thankfully, she was not with the family on the trail that day, but she suffered just as tragic of a loss. And we need to keep that in mind. Because of that, I would plead with you and the public to please be sensitive to the fact that there's a family that's grieving. It's hard to express because I can't understand it, what they're going through. Misinformation hurts. Speculation hurts. When they read things, when we talked to them earlier today, they express that to us, that they're reading things in social media, they're reading things that are just simply not true. People are speculating, they're talking about things that are not factual, and it hurts. There's no place for that. Along those lines, we have to be very careful in an investigation to be calculated in the amount of information that we put out, and when we put that out. I can tell you that this investigative team had one mission and one mission only, and that was to put hands on this suspect and to get him off the streets. And on a daily basis, we got together and we talked about what we felt like that we could put out to the public and what was going to be advantageous for us in the investigation and what could potentially be detrimental. One thing that we did not want to do is put information out that was going to take attention away from someone that we needed to look at. You have to remember all the information that we're working off of started with two little girls that witnessed the most horrific thing that you could ever imagine. That was the base of everything that we had. So we had to be careful about relying solely on that information. We had to collaborate that. We're also working in an environment that is half a mile into the woods. So by the time that we get the information from these little girls, and then we collaborate that with members from the public, they can talk, or they can, give us further information based on the suspect description and things like that. And then that leads us to a vehicle, and then that leads us somewhere else. This is not an episode of CSI. It's not going to be wrapped up in a 1-hour episode. It takes hours and hours to develop that information, corroborate that information, and know that it's good information, and know that it's something that we can put out. The last thing that we want to be responsible for is putting information out that's going to hinder the investigation or hinder someone's their likelihood of calling us and putting us onto a suspect that we need to be looking at, because it didn't meet all the markers that we thought it should meet. So I hope you can be understanding of that, and I hope as we move forward from here that the speculation and a lot of the talk, a lot of the chatter, especially on social media, that people will be very sensitive to that. This family's been through enough, and they don't deserve to be victimized any further than they already are. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Colonel?
Yes.
Can you elaborate more on what was the reason behind this? What was the motive for this? Was this random, or what happened there? And what was the cause of death? How were they killed?
As far as the motive is concerned, it's part of the investigation. It's two parts. The first part of the investigation is always going to be to identify and apprehend the suspect. The second part of the investigation is a lot of the whys and a lot of the details. That's still a part of the investigation. I can tell you that we have no reason to believe that there was any known association between our suspects and our victims. There's nothing to indicate that at all. It appears to be a completely random event. As far as the weapon that was used, it was a knife. our victims died by stab wounds. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Colonel. We've spoken to a few parents from students who he was their teacher in different states, and they all kind of gave the synopsis of
black and got diabetes, then they've been lying to you this whole time. See, folks like us, we ain't even...
Perhaps he was a predator. Their children felt like he preyed on younger age girls during his time teaching in those states. We were wondering, have you been exploring any connections to the crimes that Miguel may have been connected with, and any indication that this was his first time committing this? Was he after those girls? Were those his target?
From what we know right now, we have no indication to suggest that the girls were his target.
This was his first time, but he just went to that park that one time that day. I heard potentially somebody suspicious could have been there the weekend before. Was he just that first time at the park, or do you think he was laying out and calculating?
Honestly, that would be pure speculation on my part. Now that we have our suspect in custody, there's going to be a part of the investigation that's going to go back, and they're going to look at timelines, and they're going to look at kind of his movements leading up to that, and hopefully that will give us all a better picture of why he did this, how long he had planned this, things like that. But right now, that's all part of the investigation, and it would simply be speculation on our part.
I believe he was injured as well. Can you elaborate on that? During the attacks?
Yes, he was injured. I do not know the specifics of those injuries. I do know that his injuries resulted in blood loss. And it was that blood loss that allowed us to establish a DNA profile to begin with. And it was that DNA profile that was matched today against our suspect.
I would assume that's any loving parent trying to do whatever they can to protect their loved ones.
Absolutely. I would say you're correct. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned some articles found in the house. What was found?
Stacey.
So if you'll remember the photo that was of the back of our suspect, we did find items that were consistent with what was seen in that photograph.
Was the weapon there?
Well, we don't know that it's the weapon, but we did collect some knives from the residence. We won't know until we test it, obviously.
The arrest itself, did he resist? Was he easygoing? What did that look like?
No, he was completely cooperative.
Can you speak on the terrain, the area that the victims were found in regards to the girls getting to safety to get help? What kind of time frame that would look like for two girls? Was it a rough terrain? Was it something that, another person found them within an hour, or can you speak on that?
So I don't know that we can speak on to the time frame, but the terrain was what you would see in a typical park. I don't know that it was particularly rugged, but it had some inclines. It was fairly maintained, but it was, our estimation was about a half a mile into the park. So you can imagine how long that would take to get out.
One more question. We had heard reports. Can you confirm that the father was stabbed first, the mother took the kids back into the car for safety, went back to help her husband, and then she died too?
So the information that we have is that the husband was attacked first. The mother did not return all the way to the car with the kids. We believe that the mother took them to safety and then returned to help her husband.
And I know you all said that the suspect, I believe, indicated that he had committed these acts. Any more specifics on what he may have said since his arrest?
We're not going to comment on that at this point. It wouldn't be fair to the continuing investigation.
And then I assume this would be for maybe more the prosecuting attorney, but do you know yet if you'll pursue the death penalty in this case, or what kind of consequences you might seek?
This case certainly has the aggravators that exist where a jury should get to decide what the punishment for this defendant is. It's my intention to pose that to a jury. So the state will not be waiving the death penalty in this case.
The family member said that they want you to seek the death penalty.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Did he indicate he plans to plead guilty to this?
Defendant's innocent until proven guilty at arraignment. I anticipate he will plead not guilty, as is custom. I don't know that there's a defense attorney in the United States of America that would allow a defendant to appear at their first appearance and plead guilty. So it is much too early to visit about that.
Has he indicated he's going to seek a public defender as a private attorney or anything like that?
I'm not aware that a private attorney has been retained yet. If he can't afford a private attorney, I anticipate our local public defender's office will be appointed.
I know that y'all spoke that was dead. Will be closed for the time being, but what about other state parks and the concerns of family and tourists?
Yeah, as far as the question of the state parks being open, I would ask that you send that to Secretary Shaye Lewis and his team. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know what the decision is on that at this point. As far as the safety of our public visiting those state parks, I would say it's as absolute as it can be. I mean, it's not like we have a pattern of people being assaulted or attacked in our state parks. You're probably much more likely to be assaulted getting gas at a convenience store on the way home if you look at statistics. So to echo the prosecutor's comments, I would not hesitate to go to a state park today.
I know you're still looking into it, Stacey, but have you found any more information about background? Where last time you recently moved to Springdale area, do you have more information to share? And just before we let Springdale, what else can you tell us?
So, I don't have a whole lot. Some of that we will look into. I can just tell you that we found that he lived in Texas and also Oklahoma, and had recently moved here and had taken employment as a teacher. It doesn't sound like he was ever an actual teacher in Arkansas, but that he was a teacher in other locations. Right now we're completely focused on our case here, and we haven't explored any of that background investigation. I fully expect that other jurisdictions will probably reach out to us to see if they have if there are cases throughout the U.S. that may be connected to him. I fully expect that.
As of right now, he's the only suspect. He's not a suspect in any other incidents here in our area.
That's correct. Not that we've been made aware of. That's for sure.
And recently, moved here a few weeks ago, a few months.
I believe it's been a few months. Yes, sir.
Major, can you clarify? You say he made statements indicating that he had killed them. Did he flat out confess, or what exactly did he say?
So I was not actually in the room when he was confessing, so I'm not going to speak to, I certainly don't want to get that wrong, but just know that he did indicate that he had committed the murders. Would you call it a confession, or you don't know for sure? I would call it an admission.
Does the suspect have any sort of criminal history that you all know of?
No, he did not. Not any adult criminal history that we've been able to find, for sure.
Did he indicate why Springdale's not that far from the state park, any indication why he, for 5 days, stayed so close to the scene, or was he planning on fleeing the area or the state at some point?
There was no indication that he was going to flee the area. He actually had a residence in Springdale, so that's why he was in the area. But he gave it doesn't sound like he was making any attempts to conceal. He didn't conceal his car or any of those things. Yes, ma'am.
Any history of mental illness?
Not that we know. We're still exploring. We just took him into custody last night, so we're still, vetting a lot of the information that we don't know about him to this point.
How did police pinpoint him at the barbershop?
Good old-fashioned police work.
Was there any technology used or that aided in the investigation?
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that? Like, were there any license plate readers or anything that gave a tip to where he was at that point in time? Or
I'll just say this: that there's rarely a case that we work that doesn't include those types of things. So we used everything. When I say that it was all hands on deck and there was no stone left unturned, it involved all of those technological aspects.
With the high volume of tips that came in, can you elaborate on how you sort of knew which ones to look into?
So we had a really good filtering system, and we are aware initially there were some issues with tips and the phone system that we had in place at that time. Once we implemented the tips line, we had a team around the clock filtering through those, and we had a pretty good matrix of the ones that we would push to the top and the ones that we would term a lower priority. So it's, but most of, if we got indication that it involved video, photographs, a first-hand account at the park, those were our priorities.
And I understand that every case is different, but you, for many years, investigated.
Camping is such an adventure. I love how there's a surprise around every corner.
You, for many years, investigated the worst crimes. Is this typical? That's a random crime like this, and a person goes back and gets a haircut in the same car?
Nothing about this case is what I would call conventional. In my 27 years that I've been with the state police, this is probably one of the most heinous that we've had, especially the aspect of just how random it was. It's when we were talking last night in the command center that this is every agent's worst nightmare, because in a typical investigation we use what we call victimology, and you can usually kind of pinpoint something that a victim has done or the circumstances they're in, whether it's a domestic violence or just drug related. You can typically narrow down your suspect pool. We had no way to do that in this case, so it made it particularly difficult. And what makes the work by our agents so extraordinary. Yes, ma'am.
Was the suspect trying to change his identity at all?
We don't have any indication that he was doing that. He was obviously getting a haircut, but you could chalk that up to school starts next week. So, but he didn't indicate he was trying to alter that I'm aware of, that he was trying to alter his identity.
And you all mentioned that he was cooperative when you got to the barber shop. Any other initial reaction from him when you all showed up? Anything you could tell us?
That's probably best that I not discuss that so early in the investigation to this point.
Can you speak on the role of social media and helping bring about the rest of the subject?
I will say that social media did nothing to help our investigation. I would say that it absolutely hindered our investigation. As you heard the Colonel mention, the hurt and just the emotional toil that social media gave to that family. It's so easy to be that keyboard warrior and question everything that law enforcement is doing. And I would just simply say that let us do our job. If you've got a tip, give it to us. Don't spread it on social media unless you're an expert. And if you're an expert, you're probably not on social media.
One of the first details that you'll put out about the car was there's tape covering the license plate. Was that the case with his vehicle, and any reason why? Was he trying intentionally to cover up the license plate?
Yes, he did use tape to conceal some of the things that would help identify his vehicle. Does
that lead you to believe at all that he's done this before?
There are indications. I mean, everyone speculates that he took there was a lot of thought that went into this to conceal his identity. I will say that, but on the other side of that, he was also very sloppy. So whether he committed something else, we don't know, but we are certainly going to explore that.
How long between when you determined that he was the suspect you were looking for and when you made the arrest? How long did that take?
Within the hour.
How long between when he began questioning until he confessed?
I don't know that. I'm sorry.
I think we're just going to take a couple more questions. Anyone else?
Can you speak on which agencies and how many officers that were involved?
Oh, so in any agency that I missed, the colonel may have included this. I can tell you that the FBI was instrumental, the Washington County Sheriff's Office, the Fayetteville Police Department, just about every agency up there, the Benton County Sheriff's Office with their flock cameras, the Park Service, the Game and Fish. Who am I leaving out? Springdale, absolutely instrumental. They had a detective embedded with us from the very beginning, and anybody else, and just dozens of detectives that were all hands on deck, working round the clock to make sure that we made an arrest. The community deserved that, and that's what we gave them.
Yeah. Moving forward, the different agencies in supporting these kids, I mean, loss of both of their parents. If there's anything that you want to touch on with that.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
I said moving forward and supporting the kids after the loss of their parents. Like, if there's anything that you want to say on that with the different agencies that are involved.
Colonel, you probably better answer that.
I'm not sure if I understood the question exactly, but I can tell you that Governor Sanders has been in contact with the family multiple times. She's expressed the absolute heartbreak of the state, the support and the prayers that that family will receive, not only from her and her family, but from the state of Arkansas. In addition to that, she's made available any resource that family needs during this recovery process from state agencies, whether that be law enforcement or other type of support agencies. I can also tell you from someone myself that has spoken with the family multiple times, they're an incredibly strong family, and they have a very, very strong family support in place. I have no doubt that those three girls are going to be well taken care of, and they're going to get everything they need from that family. And they also know that if they have a need that we can assist with, we being the state of Arkansas, any type of state public entity, then we will absolutely do that.
Lastly, I know while the investigation is ongoing, you're conducting an internal review. We'll see things being done better. We're going to call transfers and information being released. Am I correct? Can you talk to me about that?
Yes, we will always, after any significant incident, we'll debrief it and we'll look at what we did right, what we did wrong, what we could do better. I can tell you from our vantage point right now, it's hard for me to be critical of anything that our investigators did. They have, you know this. I know these guys. You know, I know our capabilities. But you forget, honestly, until you see it play out. You see the level of expertise and skill. Cannot say enough about our investigators. And, you know, not only the skill set that they use to bring this suspect to justice, but just they put everything into it, their heart and soul. So, I mean, it was an impressive thing to watch. And so, of what we could do better, I'm sure there'll be things. You know, y'all have heard me say it before, our agency is comprised of human beings. And we're always going to make mistakes, and there's going to be things that we can fine-tune. But from my vantage point right now, I have nothing but gratitude and respect for our investigators and the way this was handled.
Carl, one more question. Can you confirm when you spoke to him after the arrest?
Are you tired of uncomfortable bras that dig, poke, and just don't fit right? We deserve.
Can you confirm when you spoke to him after the arrest that this was not, he didn't know them, he didn't know the family at all, this was just a pure accidental coincidence that he targeted them?
I can confirm that, and again, as Major Rhodes said, I was not present for the interview, and I've not listened to the interview yet. But I can confirm that we have absolutely no indication, no reason whatsoever to believe that there was any connection at all between our suspect and our victims.
I've got one more. Can you elaborate on the role that the FBI and federal law enforcement held in the investigation?
Yeah, so the first thing I can tell you is how blessed we are with their partnership. The prosecutor and the major both mentioned all the agencies that were involved. What's always nice about that is they don't wait on us to call them. As soon as this was known, as soon as it was made public, honestly, I don't know how they found out as quick as they did. My phone started ringing off the wall from our special agent in charge of FBI in Little Rock, from the sheriffs in the northwest part of Arkansas, the police chiefs in that area, HSI, you name it, just about every agency that you can think of immediately reached out to us for any support that we needed. I cannot specifically tell you what roles they played, but I can tell you that they played significant roles. There was, as the major alluded to, there's part of the investigation that is looking at this from the standpoint that it's completely random. There's another part of the investigation that has to close the loophole of is there a connection at all between our suspects and our victims. And unfortunately in this case, our victims had recently moved here. Their origins are from California. They, I believe, lived in North Dakota most recently. So there's a lot of geographical space and a lot of people that had to be talked to. And we leaned heavily on our, not only our state and local partners, but other state and local, and absolutely our federal partners.
I'm just curious about
the communication challenges out there. I know you can't get cell service in the week out there.
Right.
How much did that affect the response, and how did that affect the investigation?
Yes. The answer to that question is yes. It was very challenging. The fact that we did not have cell service and our investigators didn't have cell service, that other campers on the trail didn't. So, again, it kind of goes back to the type of information that was coming in, the amount of information that was coming in, and the time lapse of the information that was coming in. It all factored in. To say this is an unusual crime scene, unusual crime in just about every aspect, it was extremely challenging. And all of those things came into play, from lack of cell service to the terrain itself.
I think one more, and then we're going to wrap up.
Yes, ma'am.
Are the kids enrolled in anywhere near the school that he was going to teach at?
I don't know the answer to that. I know the kids are with family right now, but I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, there was the video. I know it was a little laggy, but like once again, the link to the original video from YouTube is in the description, so you can go back and watch it at your leisure. Welcome, Miranda, and everybody else. I tried to pop comments up every time somebody came in or made a comment. So welcome everybody who came in during the video. This was from earlier this afternoon, concerning, for anybody coming in that might not know, concerning the double homicide at here in Arkansas, up in Devil's Den State Park. And it's for somebody was asking where it was earlier. And you can see that little red dot up there. That's the general vicinity of the state park, and the nearest city is, and I can't read it because the banner. Hold on, let me take it down for a minute. Is Winslow is the nearest city. But it is like a huge, huge state park, but it's up in the northwest. It's south, a little bit south of Fayetteville, if anybody knows where Fayetteville is. So, and once again, you are most welcome. Like I said, I know this was actually a screen recording I did of the original video, because every time I try to play the actual video, like screen share, it's even worse than this was. So I usually just screen record and play it. But I want to try to find. I wonder if I can find. Oh, I forgot to take down the. Hold on, 1 minute. I was going to take that down, and I'll put the pictures back up of the victims, okay, because they are the most important. The victims and those two precious little girls that were just. I just still cannot imagine how terrified the girls were, but how brave and strong they were to, listen to their mother. I can just imagine their mom saying, run, run or whatever. I don't know if that's, obviously don't know if that's what happened, but they managed to make it, what they say was about a mile and a half into the park that they had to come out of to try to find help. It was just, God bless those girls. Just God bless them, and God bless their parents, their mom and dad, that you see here on the screen, for protecting those girls. But just a horrible case. But an arrest has been made for, once again, anybody coming in late. State of McGann, his name, 28-year-old Andrew James McGann. Was taken into police custody at around 4:57 p.m. on July 30th, which was 4 days after the bodies of Clinton and Kristen Brink, who you see on the screen, were found deceased by homicide at the Devil's Den State Park on July 26th. And he has been charged with 2 counts of capital homicide. And the prosecuting attorney in the press conference said that the DP is on the table. And I think it was kind of hard to hear, but during the press conference, one of the questions that was asked was something to the effect of, has any of the family made any comment one way or another, whether they wanted the DP to be on the table or not? And I think the prosecuting attorney declined to comment. So, we don't know. And that's the family's right to, say whether or not they, want it, or whether or not they want it revealed, what their feelings are one way or another is what I'm trying to say. So, but the prosecuting attorney said the DP has not been waived. So I'm assuming that means it's still on the table. Now, they could change. Who knows? We all know in cases like this, things change. And they said that the knucklehead, the offender, could be in court. I think maybe, and it may not be, but could be in court as early as August 1st. And officials indicated that the DP is on the table. It's according to the THV11.com. So it's just horrible, horrible case. Like I said, God bless those little girls for what they did. And then for him, the offender, just being a knucklehead and just going out to get a haircut, and that's what got him caught. So, and I wonder if, because the Stacey Rhodes, the representative for the Arkansas State Police, she was asked if, I think, some to the effect of, do you think, he was organized and he planned this out and premeditated? Which, I mean, to me, the covering of the license plate would kind of make me believe, yeah, it was premeditated. He went out there just looking, I don't know, for just randomly or somebody specific or specific type of person, age-wise or gender-wise or whatever. But then again, to be so sloppy as to, stay, within just a few miles of, after he committed the crime, stay within go back to his house, hang out for, 3 or 4 days, then go out and get a haircut. And, so she said that basically said he was, he was sloppy in that aspect. So I don't understand. I really don't. But yeah, Miranda says that man is disgusting for what he did. Absolutely. And their question was also asked if they thought that he had done something like this before, and if the law enforcement was going to go back and look into other places he lived to see if there were any cases that could possibly have been committed by him, things of that nature. So, I mean, it's possible. I'm not, obviously we don't know, but it's possible that this could have been the first time that he did something like this. He just worked his way up to it, or, he maybe had attempted it before, or maybe had done it before. I don't know. It's just with alleged psychopaths like this, you never know. That's just the whole thing of it. But like I said, the most important part of the story is the victims, the mom and dad, victims, heroes, the little girls. Also victims and heroes, survivors and heroes. So we'll just keep the family and the thoughts and prayers, good vibes. So if anybody's got anything else, any questions, comments, or anything, how long will we go? About 2.5 hours. I did have another thing I was going to touch on, but we might save that for next time. But I definitely wanted to get this update in. Let's see if I missed any. Say hello to anybody else that came in. I know Frank Meister came in. Welcome, Frank Meister. It's always good to have you here. Miranda came in. Let's see. Somebody else came in while the video was playing. I tried to pop them up on the screen. Echo says that he was still at work. Yeah, I think I got everybody. Yeah, Frank Meister popped in. Miss Doris. Yeah, and I'm definitely wondering about. So is juvenile histories, do they stay permanent? Juvenile criminal histories, do they stay permanently sealed, or can they be unsealed? Because I'm definitely interested, because somebody asked it. Well, somebody asked if he had any adult criminal history, but I'm interested, and they said not as far as they could find. But I'm definitely interested in if he had any juvenile criminal history and what it is. But like I said, I don't know about criminal juvenile criminal history, if it can be unsealed or how that's handled. I don't know. Miranda says Frank Meister is my friend. Yes, Frank Meister is awesome. Frank Meister is awesome, dude. Oh, let's see. Right, so if anybody, let me make sure I got in everything that I was going to. So I guess really quickly, let me take this down. I did come across, just to end on kind of like a little bit of a lighter note, positive note. You know, my affinity for cold cases and cold cases that are solved, or those that are have been identified. And I came across this article, Martha Bassett. Let me find the article. I have an article and just a really short video clip, and then we will get out of here. But I found this interesting. If I can get the article to come up. So Martha Bassett found Will County cold case solved after 56 years. So after 50 years. And this is from, where's this from? Illinois, Will County, Illinois. As it says, and this article is from fox32chicago.com, and it is from the 25th of July of this year. And so it says a cold case that lingered for more than half a century in Will County has been solved, according to the Will County Coroner's Office. Skeletal remains discovered in 1968 have been identified as Martha Bassett, and it is Martha Bassett. That's one of the only pictures that was on Google, the Google machine. They were identified as Martha Bassett, a 33-year-old Native American woman originally from Wapato, which is in Yakima County, Washington. So Martha moved to Chicago in 1960. By 1967, she had lost contact with her family, prompting them to travel to the city in an effort to find her. Their search proved unsuccessful, unfortunately, and they returned home without answers. Unfortunately, their exhaustive search was unsuccessful, so that just repeated itself. So officials used forensic science to identify Martha's remains. So the backstory, Martha's remains were found in the brush near I-55 and Blodgett Road in unincorporated Will County on September 30th, 1968. At the time, police were unable to identify the victim's remains, and they were buried in Oakwood Cemetery in Wilmington. So Martha relocated to the Chicago area as part of the Indian Relocation Act of 1956, which is a federal initiative to encourage indigenous people to move from reservations to urban centers. By 1967, Martha had lost contact with her family, who traveled to Chicago to find her. Once again, they returned home without finding any answers. So the case was reopened in 2009 when Will County Coroner Patrick K. O'Neill established a cold case unit. So the team, including retired Romeoville investigator Eugene Solian and the late Will County Sheriff's investigator James Carden, exhumed Martha's remains from the cemetery. Experts at the University of North Texas and the Smithsonian Institute Paleontology Department determined that portions of the skeletal remains were of Native American descent. So in 2017, Dr. Chris Hughes and the University of Illinois Forensic Anthropology Department confirmed that the remains were of both Asian and Native American descent. Current cold case investigator William Sheehan and investigator Joe Piper, both are retired Lockport police detectives, reached out to the Native American tribes in Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, asking about any missing persons report from the late 1960s that matched this description. A flyer was created and shared on social media and throughout Native communities. Emily Washinas of Washington reached out as a distant relative of Martha. A niece of Martha's was contacted, and with the help of some DNA, a match was found. So on September 13th of 2024, more DNA was taken from the remains and sent to Othram. We talk about Othram all the time. They're a forensic genetic genealogy company in Woodlands, Texas, and they provided a confirmed match. So funding from from NamUs helped make all of this new data come to light. A statement by the Will County Coroner's Office said, quote, Martha Bassett's identity, lost to history for more than half a century, has been restored, allowing her family and community to honor her memory and finally lay her to rest. The case stands as a testament to what can be achieved when modern technology is applied with compassion and resolve, and it offers hope to the families of other missing persons that answers, though sometimes delayed, can still be found. So I just thought that was we always like what Miss Barbara would call those kind of bittersweet endings. They still don't have answers as to what happened, and I do have like I said, a short video clip I'm going to play. But yeah, just at least they have given her name back. Like I said, they have given her name back. So let me check comments right quick, and then I will. Miranda wants to know COD. I think in the video that I'm going to play, I think it was blunt force trauma, I believe. But it says in the video, I believe. Yeah, absolutely. So let me play the video right quick, and I will be back. Yeah, Miss Barbara says, yes, it is bittersweet. Absolutely.
Major development in a half-century-old cold case. We now know the name of a woman murdered in Will County in 1968. Our Noel Braden talked to one of the investigators who finally figured it out.
We have no leads. We got zero.
The headline reads, Woman Found Dead. Detectives in 1968 didn't know much more than that.
States in the report they did go back to look for any evidence, and they didn't find anything.
Bill Sheehan is a cold case investigator with the Will County Coroner's Office.
We can tell you that there was blunt force trauma, so she died that way.
In September of 1968, highway workers found a woman's body in the woods along I-55 in Will County.
We're like, this one's going to be hard, if not unsolvable.
Initial DNA testing of the remains in 2009 revealed the woman was Native American.
I emailed all the tribes in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa.
But the break in the case didn't come until help from experts in DNA.
Their technology, it just blows my mind.
Othram, a Houston-based company specializing in forensic genetic genealogy.
We build technology. A lot of it is DNA-based technology that can help investigators immediately identify people associated with crime scenes.
They've helped Will County before.
This Will County cold case.
Identifying victims of cold cases, just like the one from 1968.
A lead developed from Othram to a lady in Washington.
Othram confirmed a family match and helped identify 33-year-old Martha Bassett.
When you found out that there was a match, what was that like?
Well, you're gonna laugh. I was at a golf outing. I jumped for joy. The guys I was with, they were like, "What's going on over there?" You know.
Martha is no longer missing, but there's still a mystery to solve.
It's just the beginning of the story. Now there's an investigation to determine, what happened to her.
Noel Brennan, CBS News, Chicago.
All right. So yeah, it was blunt force trauma. So yeah, like I said, now they've given her name back. What am I looking for? There it is. She's got her name back. She's got her face back. So now, hopefully, they can do some investigating and hopefully find out what happened to her, because blunt force trauma suggests homicide, obviously. So yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on this. Absolutely. But like I said, it's always good and bittersweet. Once again, like Miss Barbara says, when a missing person is found, not in the way, not alive and well, but or when somebody, is given their name back and their face back and identified a victim. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So going back to just for a minute, the Devil's Den case, I'm going to try to put together a playlist, get some video clips of the local news coverage and put it all in one playlist. So, if anybody wanting to know more about it, the timeline and the progression of the investigation up to the arrest, and I'm going to keep following it, obviously, and anything that develops after, as far as court dates and things of that nature. I'll let you guys know and put it all in a playlist so it'll be easy to find. So I think that is all I had. So Monday, barring any unforeseen things that come up, yes, absolutely. Miss Barbara says the family has their loved one back. Absolutely. Yep, you are correct. And obviously, thoughts and prayers and good vibes are going out to Miss Barb, because just a few days ago has been 3 years, marked a 3-year anniversary of when they found Timmy. So you're always in our thoughts and prayers, Miss Barb. Absolutely. You will get justice one of these days. I have faith. We have faith. Absolutely. So Monday, barring anything coming up or any unforeseen things that come up or technical issues that I may have, we'll have our Missing Person Monday live stream, and I believe we're up to New Mexico for this week. So we'll be doing New Mexico missing persons cold cases, or maybe a mixture of some cold cases and newer cases. I think I've already got picked out the cases. I just got to get the slideshow put together and research and get some more information. Thank you, Miss Farr. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Farr says, thank you, Southern Gal. Great live. Thank you, mods, chat. Stay safe, love and light. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Barbara. Always, always. Yes, so yes, absolutely. Justice for Timmy Dees. Absolutely. And for anybody who wasn't here earlier, he may have passed out by now or gone back into the woods. Our resident Sasquatch, Mr. Steve, made an appearance earlier. It's so good to see Mr. Steve pop in. But he's been out doing the good work, being busy. So we wish him all the best as always, and hope he gets some rest. And just keep on keeping on. So, like I said, we'll be back Monday night with a live stream, and then I did manage to get some videos recorded to upload this coming week. So until then, do some multitasking here while I'm doing this. Until then, everybody have a good weekend. I will see you Monday. stay safe, stay cool, stay hydrated, be careful out there. You know, don't be scared, be prepared, always be aware of your surroundings. And I will see you guys Monday night. Love you guys. Thanks.